So the question is, how is licensing being considered? Okay, I gotcha. We'll let Adina know.
Right. It looks like we have another. Perfect. And we can, if you have a response, we can take that in the Slack or we can bring that forward via email, whatever makes the most sense for you.
Yeah, we'll have to bring that back via email. Um, and then, okay, I see another question about BibFrame link data for the patrons on the Primo side.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so we we definitely see using um, BibFrame to really help encourage patrons discovering of more things and um, just using the um oh my gosh, I'm
Oh,
just like
it's
having
okay.
a
I know where you're going with this.
yeah. I was
So
like
so the
words
idea,
are not forming.
would you like me to complete the other end of your thought?
Yeah. Yes, we do
Um,
use relationships. That is part of it.
yes.
Sorry,
Uh,
go ahead.
no. I was just thinking, with LinkedIn Open Data, I think with all of our products, certainly the idea is to make them, not make them, that's a terrible way to phrase it, but to make using Primo so complete and so intuitive that they don't feel like they have to go out and open up yet another screen to find a little bit more information. So the idea of keeping them on the platform, so keeping their eyes on your on your data and your information and presenting to them just a curated experience from your side of the house. So I think as we do the linked open data, to just kind of be able to, to be looking at a book. Always use the example of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but to jump from the people card to another related reading item and just kind of explore in that way. That idea of exploring and including your curated content when you can is just really key. So yes, to give them uh, the the excellent resources that you have already curated, that you already provide. So to kind of keep them in that sphere. I hope that was a little helpful. But yes, that's always the goal. Um, so
Yeah, and we do use relationships. That is part of
mhm.
what's showed with like the info cards, either relationship of the author, related people, or other related works. That's what is the current functionality in the Primo side. Um, I think that they are planning on expanding that a bit um, over time.
Oh. Amanda says, what are your favorite linked data projects at Clarivate that you've completed or participated in this past year or so? Oh dear. Well, all right, Amanda, I will tell you that one of the things that we work on specifically is kind of showing folks what our products can do. So we're not on the product development side of things. I think a lot of the um, kind of a lot of our focus has recently been, I'm speaking for myself, Caitlin, this may be you as well. But we've been focused a lot on Specto lately, in the way that you can kind of go on a journey of exploration. Are you familiar with Specto? It's okay. Yes, no, I'm looking back at that. So I
Yeah,
think
probably not.
Specto is, well, the reason I bring it up is that that's one of the one of the products to really take advantage of linked open data, right? So as you're creating these exhibits, you're just really able to use the tools that are available on the web, the way that people are today searching, to be able to just give them more access into your collection. So I think Specto has just been, I don't want to call it like a fireball, but like it's real, like it's moving and developing so quickly. Caitlin, do you feel that as well?
Yeah, I think it's a really exciting product
Yeah.
and a more exciting, useful way to help
Yeah.
um, yeah, display. Yeah, someone just
Yeah.
shared the meetspecto.com. Yep,
Yeah. Yes.
that's
Yes. Yes.
the
Yes.
page where you can kind of play around and look at the exhibit feature I really like.
Yep.
Um,
It's pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
I
that is cool.
I think in just one kind of like cap off thought there is that like we talk about products a lot, but really what these products are doing is accessing the tools that either exist or the communities that we're participating in. Like this, as we are developing this as a community, I think to see these aspects in our different products, like take advantage of what's out there and really use it to good effect. I think that's really exciting. That not reinventing the wheel, and just really like, all right, we have AI, we will use it surgically to do a very particular task for you, or we are incorporating linked open data, we're going to use it to create a more enriching experience for users as they're kind exploring your collections and moving through. So I think that's very exciting. That's a very long-winded answer. Um, Thanks, Amanda. Um, okay, let's look
And
here.
Laura, I see a comment about discovery interface need to be redesigned. Do you mean Primo there? Um,
or any discovery interface.
yeah,
This
I mean,
this is an area that the working group, the Link Data Igloo Luna group,
hmm
has a subgroup on that I'm on. And we're trying to grapple with how far we can go and have time to in exploring this, but there hasn't been a lot of development on discovery interfaces based on RDA and library reference model, FERBR, whatever you want to call it, those requirements for the data in order for users to be able to do things like see all the versions of a work, for example, you know,
hmm
including different editions, but also just different publications, different formats of the same kind of content, you know.
hmm
And this is something that's a problem right now, you know. So
Yeah.
if there was an interface that did that, where you didn't just get a results list with, say, the electronic version of the book you're looking for, um, 2 pages over in your search results than the print version or the microform version just happening to pop up first, or another edition that's not the earliest one that you wanted, all
hmm
that kind of thing. um, that there's a reason why this um, redesign of metadata has been happening, and,
Yeah.
it's to serve user needs. And frankly, I mean, there are a few interfaces. Share VDE is one I'm thinking that are really designed around the entities. Um, but um, there needs to be more exploration and experimentation, and it's work. I know designing a web interface for something like millions of pieces of content and super millions, billions of pieces of little pieces of data is kind of
Yes, yes. Well,
Because
I'm glad that you're on the working group because that's definitely the group that collaborates with the correct team. And I mean, we do have the Primo VE NDE as they're calling it, Next Discovery Experience, being created now. So I'm sure that the feedback from that working group's being taken into consideration as they're working on that
you know,
newer.
I saw something in a roadmap that was interesting, but I can't remember what it was now, but I said, oh, being able to relate this to that, or being able to show um, what do you call it? Access and availability information for your items or your links to electronic, etc., for other versions. And I said, if that says what I think it is, then somebody's thinking in the right direction.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
will be interested to see how this NDE um, plays out and is different from what we have now.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks like we do have one more question about the Ex Libris Discovery Layer product and what that is.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, the main one is Primo that we're
Yeah.
the main one that is built on the same platform as our Alma ILS. That is the one that's most vastly used around the world. We do also have Summon as well.
Yeah.
Um, that's a discovery layer product as well that tends to be used with other ILS.
Do we have any summon users in the group? Out of curiosity. I don't see anything in the chat. Okay. All right. Oh,
There we
Primo
go.
here. Hey. All right. Got Sasha. Um, Sasha, have you thought about the NDE or about how you would like to roll that out to your users and when,
We're
like what that process is going to look like for you?
I'm actually part of the State University of New York Consortium. So we're
Oh,
doing it
okay.
kind of at the consortial level.
Yes.
And they are doing most of the thinking work for me, thankfully.
Oh.
That's nice. That's very, very useful.
Yes, I greatly appreciate that they are doing all of that for us.
Yeah.
So we're going to have kind of a consortial rollout coming up, and I think they're looking at like November or something
Yep.
around that time, keeping
Yep.
tabs on it.
So y'all are do a lot of oh, I often will go to usually I'll go to the SUNY Buffalo Primo just to kind of look and see. There's always something going on. Like things have always moved, or we're changing the font, so we're making it easier to read, or we're doing this, or we're doing that. And I am curious to know if you'll be doing anything similar to, I want to say it's the University of Dayton. Is that right? We're coming on with through Ohio Link. Is that right, Caitlin?
Yeah,
Dayton, yeah.
yeah.
And so I went to a presentation at ERNL. I think it was at ERNL. There are a lot of conferences to go to, where they were basically hacking their Primo to look like the NDE, so that when it was time to eventually switch over to the NDE, because they will have just gotten people used to Primo, that when it's time to switch over to the NDE, folks will be pretty familiar with, legitimately, like with the shapes and the colors and how things are organized. I just thought it was fascinating that they were doing this work, and I just wondered, yeah, just a
That's so
question back for
creative.
you.
It is
Yeah,
so
it's really
creative.
cool. It's really cool. I mean, so that's pretty far thinking. I think they're lucky that they've got, while you can use Primo and you don't have to have any advanced coding skills, it's interesting what you can do when you have a group on campus that can move the furniture around, as it were. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
We
so
do
I
some of that work here at Binghamton as well. I love Buffalo. We go to theirs all the time. We're like, okay, we want to fix this. How's Buffalo doing it? Let's find out. Are they fixing it? And then can we steal it from them?
Yes,
But
yes.
we do have
Shared,
folks,
shared, borrow,
yeah,
shared. Yeah,
borrow.
yeah. Inspired by.
Yes, exactly. But we do a little bit of the moving around. We have a monthly group where we meet and say, okay, this is what functionality we're expecting. What do we need to adjust ahead of time, if anything? How
Yeah.
is it going to work for our campus? But we've really enjoyed the flexibility that we have.
Oh, that's good. And I think it's even going to change when you have access to are you able to look at, have they released anything having to do with Mixpanel yet for you?
I
I
don't
mean, I
know.
think that's only with the new pages.
Just with the new pages. Okay. All right. Because
Yeah.
I'm just thinking like if you're changing things based on functionality and how people are like the user journey, I think it changes even more with Mixpanel when you're able
With being
to
able
get
how you report on it. Yeah.
yeah,
More
yeah,
reporting abilities
yeah.
coming with that. I guess part of that we'll be able to see how patrons use the linked data, like the person info cards and such. I
Mhm.
think we'll be able to see more reporting on that in the newer next discovery experience, NDE.
The NDE. Yep.
I always forget what the NDE stands for.
Eventually, it's
Next,
just going to be primo. It's
just
just going to be
primo.
primo.
It's
It's
just
primo.
primo.
It's the next time.
Just an
It'll be fun.
updated
Yeah, that's right.
version.
That's right. That's right.
Have you guys started seeing any of the reports, or have you done any testing to see how folks are using those and the IDs, the info cards?
I don't know that any of that has been shared with us.
Yeah,
Is
I didn't
that
hear anything yet.
um,
But I am curious about it. It is something I'm curious about.
yeah. We've got some early adopters. It's always interesting to go to various customer sites and see like, okay, are we up and running with Research Assistant? Are we using linked open data? Do we have like our person cards? Are we really jumping off? Is everything turned on? And yeah, I often think of Dartmouth when I'm thinking of this one specifically, but yeah, it's interesting to watch. I can't wait
I
to get the data on that. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
That'd be
I'm
great.
looking now. Actually, there is analytics around person entity discovery in the action usage subject area. So that is currently reportable with the current Primo VE. But I haven't seen anyone that shared their reporting on that out and about.
Seeing that will make it so much easier to advocate for starting. Like, look, folks are using it in other places. Like, let's turn it on,
Yeah.
please, friends.
Yeah, it would be maybe next year at Aluna we'll hear um, some more updates from people around that.
Caitlin and I were laughing before when we found out we got to come to this. We're like, oh, we can hand out virtual mints to folks, which is here's a virtual mint for you.
So here.
Here you go. But please, I do have questions. You're welcome to ask them. We'll do our level best for you. I have a little running list of things to mention to
Yeah, to
uh,
bring back to product for
yes,
y'all.
and just to remind you that there is going to be that uh, the metadata. Some it's linked open data in the metadata editor. I believe it's in your sketch. Did we just say sketch? Is that how it works?
Yep, you could say that.
Sketch. Okay,
Here.
good.
There it is.
Very good. Very good. And
No,
that is definitely if you're able to make that, you definitely want to do that. Is that going to be Adina? Do we know?
I think so.
Oh gosh. Put that in your sketch. Put that in your sketch. Um, I feel like my daughter is 14 and I feel like I'm using her language when I say that. So if it feels awkward, it's because I am when we say that.
And it looks like, I think you can see it on there, but it looks like we have 250 people so far registered for that session. So
Yeah.
we should get a good amount of folks. And of course, we have the recording as well. So if you can't make it, we can make it available to you.
Awesome.
Very exciting. There are other sessions people are excited for. or already had an exciting session this morning?
Marva? What's that?
Clearly, we need to go to that session to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Ah, yeah.
oh, it
Marva,
all becomes going.
the name.
I love it. Does it stand for anything? Or is it just fabulous? I'm gonna guess there's some. No, just cute. Okay,
It is cute.
Marva. Well, now I'm gonna take a moment and start Googling Marva. One moment, please. Uh,
I like the name too.
nice. Oh, Marva quartz. Okay, let's see. I'm doing some reading here. Um, hmm. I love this. We're finding out so many cool things. There
Yeah.
she is. Oh, got it. Oh, that is so much better than me Googling it. This is fantastic. Okay. Thank you, Mary.
Oh, how fun.
Very good. Adina says Ex Libris is interested in creating editing interface for that in Primo too, but we haven't had a chance to talk yet. Very cool. Does anybody on the call have like a timeline for their own libraries for when they're going to more transition to, this is just a BibFrame question, I guess, more transition to BibFrame and away from Mark? If I am recalling if I'm recalling this correctly, there's like no rush, but in 10 years, um, things start getting very real. Has there been any talk of timelines for you at your own libraries, or where do you where do you sit within that? No talk. Thanks, Bob. Bob, what library are you at? Ah, hello, hello. Okay, good. Got it. Hmm. Do you think like there's been no talk, no conversation around it? Do you think is there a is there like a champion in any of the departments who's very interested in it, or is it just it's a very and you can come on the mic if you want to answer, please. Don't feel like you just have to be on the chat. But is there the sense of kind of turning a ship, a really big ship around? I don't know if that's something that uh, you experience there, but that's a question for you.
Well, as a former administrator used to say, we like to be the last people to let everyone else iron out the kinks.
Fair enough.
Very,
Fair enough.
very good.
That's why I
Good
buy used
phrasing.
guitars, Bob. Why I buy used guitars. I don't know if there are any musicians in the room, but you don't want a new guitar. You want a used one. Someone else has already figured out all the things and replaced this and that and tuned it to to work in a particular way. It's cool. Watching and observing. Yeah. Yes.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep. Ah. Hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I think feelers are out. I think that is part of what's happening here and why we have those working groups and such.
What other questions do you have? Bob. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's always a consideration. Bob's got it right there. It seems very far away, Bob. Seems very far away. But yes. Yep, that's true. Bob, are you in uh, are you're on the cataloging side of the house? You said that you were an administrator. I don't know if you are
I, I- I'm
where
I'm I'm not with the cataloging group, but I do catalog.
you do catalog. Have you used the AI metadata assistant yet?
No.
Just being nosy.
Well, because
Um,
he's there on Sierra, right?
oh, you're on
Yeah.
Sarah. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. All right. I was going to
Yeah.
ask you about your problem card. I assume there's a problem card. I had problem cards too. Um,
Always,
yep,
always.
yep. So not that I know too much about this, but have you looked at any of the Vega, any of the other innovative solutions?
Oh, we have Vega, and don't talk to me about that.
Oh, okay. Got it. Are you busy ironing away the kinks?
Well, I'm only involved with Sierra, not Vega. But as far
Okay,
as Vega, no comment.
okay. Thank you.
Have you guys had a lot of feedback on the AI metadata assistant?
Um, It has been very interesting. I think it follows that line of conversation where people are just comfortable in their own lives with any kind of work with AI. But I feel like we've done enough, not enough, but personally, I've done a lot of sample catalog, let's say sample cataloging, and have been pretty impressed with what it comes back with. So if you are if you are someone who is comfortable, um, with some amount of AI, and there's just a whole spectrum of how people feel about it, and it's all valid. But I just, as I was thinking about my problem cart in when I was in libraries, just, things that never got processed would never get processed because there was always so much of the normal things to run through and get onto the shelves that it just, when you had a spare minute, you never had a spare minute. Um, you could look at the quote unquote problem shelf. So to be able to just like snap some pictures, front matter, back matter, um, and just send that through and have it come up with a nugget that you can at least use, I would have found that very valuable. Now the application of that in Almaspecto is even it's even more expanded, which is interesting. So it will we're talking about photos and facial recognition, all that fun stuff when it's looking at full images, but it will give you a description of the photo, which is kind of interesting. I was doing something with Humphrey Bogart, and now my brain, Lauren Bacall, thank you. Yes, Lauren Bacall. Um, and just watching what it was generating from that photo, we pulling in the names of who they were. It was telling you if they were elegantly dressed, they were at a, uh, just a, yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting what comes up. And the idea that you're still in charge of all of it, you can make adjustments as you would like, but I think there are a number of ways to use it. But if you're like me thinking about the problem card, that is one of the applications I would have jumped at, um, personally. So, Laura, let's see. Yep.
I think those are some questions that
For
they're
Adina.
talking about. Yeah, I know
Yep.
Adina had mentioned that exact, even about,
Yep.
how much provenance should be preserved. I remember her mentioning that, something that they're talking about still, try to bring those benefits of linked data into Alma's collaborative cataloging environment. How can we do that?
Correct.
And how can we figure out how to answer those questions? That is very,
Have the
very
answer,
good.
but somebody needs to be thinking about it because
Yeah, absolutely.
it's a different world. It's like this RDF is kind of slippery because it if it's open or it's coming from multiple sources, you're really just talking about statements.
Hmm.
And yet you need to be able to know something about where they came from, and maybe what process has been used to acquire them, and uh, um, should they be updated or not? How old are they? You might even say that kind of how old is this information is a question.
Laura, did you say you were on the working group?
I'm on the working group. I'm also in the focus group.
Okay, good. Is that
Or Emory is in the focus group. So
okay? Have you been a part of those conversations? Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so. Because it's a dilemma, and I don't know that anybody out there in the larger RDF using world semantic world has a great solution.
Hmm.
It's the differences between handling linked data and handling relational database kind of data and handling documents, which is sort of what Mark is, are really, I think, that's something I don't think BibFrame has a good handle on. But with RDF, in order to say anything about a piece of data, you have to reify it, which means, create a statement about the triples, repeating the triples and then giving them a URI and then making an assertion about it, which is really cumbersome. So RDF 1.2, I think it has been proposed and is being talked about, and it would introduce a way of qualifying your properties that might provide some possibility of expanding it. So we should probably be looking at that. And then there are also standards or proposals on W3C site for using 4 elements. And the 4th element could be a graph name URI, So you could have a clump of a clump of RDF statements that you group together and provide some information about where they come from. But I don't know how wieldy that is. I know there was a library from somewhere like Hungary or Czechoslovakia gave a presentation at SWIB one year. They were talking about they were going to have 5 elements in their linked data. 5. I don't know if that project ever, got anywhere.
What's the fifth element? I'm thinking back to the movie, the Luc Besson movie.
Yeah, same.
It, yeah, provenance is going to be the biggest buzzword in tech for
Yeah.
the next 30 years.
Mhm.
Isn't that interesting? It's so, it makes me, no, I don't want to say it makes me laugh. It is like, it's such an essential piece of any kind of, well, for me, I'm just thinking of like archival work. And
Mhm.
then to have it to have anyone who is not from an archival background or, I mean, anyway, it's a half formed thought that I'm having right now, but it just seems like,
Um,
please go ahead.
no, I mean with Mark,
Mm,
there are some little bits of provenance information that can be extremely useful sometimes in trying to do quality improvement,
mm,
um, knowing what cataloging rules were used to form the record,
mm,
um, maybe knowing the last time it was updated, knowing whether it came from it was created by an institution with a reputation for knowing what they're doing. So you don't have to check as much.
Right.
Knowing when was
trusted.
the last time it was updated and what you can therefore assume about it.
Mm,
Those kinds of things can make the management of the metadata um, go faster or more smoothly, or you can target certain problems that you're having.
mm,
But because with the online catalogs now, the idea that you catalog it once and then you forget about it that's gone. Records are continually getting updated, with authority control, but many other things are changing. And it's hard to keep up with. But in order to provide something that's coherent to the users, you have to have a certain amount of consistency.
mm,
And if you have holes in your data so that, you're not providing the best information for people to actually find things, some of the things, because of just the record not being viewed and coming out so many years ago when we didn't have subject headings, for example, or you know, it in order to really provide quality discovery, you have to keep on it, not
mm.
just the new stuff, but improving what you have.
Like treating them as living documents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when you're asking about we're talking about the metadata AI before where I talked to someone at ALA and she was saying she was thinking about using it for things that had just barely been cataloged,
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
briefly cataloged years ago and never had really been really fleshed out, so they weren't really that easy to be discovered or found. So she was thinking that the AI assistant would be helpful for her to go back to those records and update them more with more information. But yeah, that's a process. It's one of those projects that
Mm-hmm.
when do you have time for it? But it is
It
an
would
important
help if
thing to keep in mind.
it would be help helpful if the large language model had lots and lots and lots of MARC records or whatever metadata in its training set, but I don't know that they do. And one of the things, Amanda Shu and I gave a talk at Eluna. I can't say we were enormously knowledgeable, but we started doing some research, and one of the hot things with large language models, you know, and Chat GPT, et cetera, now is knowledge graphs and retrieval augmented generation using knowledge graphs. And of course, linked data is already a graph. So it's already a knowledge graph, but it might be combined with other data that isn't. But having a way to query it and feed that data to the model with your prompt could improve the response that you get, whether you're trying to create a description or you're trying to search for something in your catalog.
Mm.
That's the idea. Does Ex Libris have that idea or have it on their mental roadmap, whether they're going to show it to us or not? And not just for Alma Primo, but also for CDI.
I bet it's on a mental roadmap. I don't know if it's.
Yeah, I was told
Yeah.
that CDI has a knowledge graph behind it, and I think this is not linked data probably, but it is relationship data between, say, a book and a review of the book. So that kind of thing. Or between multiple versions, or you know, a host publication and a part of that publication, whether it be a serial volume or a book or whatever, chapter to book. Those are simple relationships, but they're relationships. So, and of course, I would think that trying to replace the kind of data that Ex Libris has been acquiring and curating in order to provide CDI from publishers, et cetera, and turning that into linked data, let alone, you know, standardized linked data such as RDF, RDA, or BibFrame, or even schema.org. That would be a sort of a Herculean task, wouldn't it? Would publishers play along with that, or?
Yeah, always the
You have the
question.
questions. You have the questions.
Yep. And
be
there
sure.
is, yeah, you're right about the graph database about relationships between those, yeah, books and book chapters, books and book reviews. That, yeah, that is part of CDI, Central Discovery Index, for those of you that don't know.
Which is Summon and, you know, and
Yep.
Primo
Yep.
CDI. So,
Yep. Both of them use it.
What are we at? North of 5 billion?
5 billion?
5 billion.
I feel like that's quite an outdated number.
Pieces of content, some kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can recall when you made it to billion. That's just so impressive.
Yeah.
I can remember when we used to have federated searching.
Yes.
Shows you what an old timer I am. And you know, something like CDI was a definite step up from that.
Yeah, definitely.
But it took a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know, I think Ex Libris was complaining in the beginning that they didn't realize how much they were going to have to deal with metadata. What do you think? how, it doesn't grow on trees. You have to get it from somewhere or pay people to make it.
Mm. Yep. When did your library move over to Alma?
Oh gosh. I don't have the history in my head. I
Oh,
know that we got Prima before we got Alma.
Mhm.
We were on Cersei Dynex, and it was around 2008, 9
mm, okay.
when we acquired Primo. And this was part of, I think, Georgia, the Galileo
Oh, yep.
organization
Mhm.
had a license for CDI, and so we got Primo in order to be able to display that.
Mm,
And we kind of experimentally, I guess, also loaded our Cersei Dynex records into Primo, so we could provide a unified search. And
yep.
um, but we didn't leave. We didn't migrate to Alma. Alma was This was the early days. I mean, before Alma was really released. But Ex Libris advised us that we'd do better to migrate to Aleph first.
Hmm.
Oh man, that was a painful migration.
Hmm.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, wow.
we really felt like we had gone through the meat grinder then. But we did manage to get our data into Aleph, and it was easier to go from Aleph to Alma when
Hmm.
Alma was finally built. But I don't remember the exact year that happened.
Okay.
2000 something,
Yeah.
2012.
So you're one of our early adopters.
Yes, we
Yep.
were. We
Very cool.
were. And we were rewarded with features not being there. But I, one of our developer systems people, we went through a really tough process to get a browse index. That
Hmm.
had just been released, and there were instructions for how to set it up. And I was doing the back end work, the normalization rules and so forth. And
Hmm.
I said, well, this is instructions on how to do it. Maybe we should do this. Well, it involved, laboriously sending through updates from Alma and renormalizing practically our whole catalog in order to get it.
Oh, wow.
And, and we were very proud of that. People had been asking for that for so long.
Hmm.
Then we migrate to Alma, and it isn't there yet. Oh, and we still don't have that because we migrated from Primo to Blacklight, an
Oh.
Oh,
instance of Blacklight that we stood up ourselves.
okay.
Now I understand, I think that we're going back to Primo, but whether we'll have a browse index then or not, I don't know. I hope so. They're worth having if you can get them. It's just a lot of work to set them up.
Hmm.
But if you look at what some other libraries are doing, like Cornell is a good example. They came out of the LD4 project as the library that implemented some of the linked data ideas in a working interface, and they had Blacklight. Their Blacklight catalog has in their browse indexes, they have links to, for example, pages for people,
Hmm.
but also for topics and also for other things
Mm.
that they're using. They're able to, access enough linked data to make it interesting. So they're one of the earlier examples of a person page kind of thing. And of course, the University of Wisconsin, I think, was the first to bring something up. And I remember, I can't remember Stevens. I can't remember his last name at the moment, but Stephen did a presentation about that at Luna one year for the Linked Open Data Working Group. And that sparked Ex Libris's interest. So we had a good influence on Ex Libris. Sometimes it took a while for them to get.
Yes, the working groups are important though, and definitely appreciated.
Great. Thank you, Caitlin and Rebecca. Thank you so much
Certainly.
for all of the information and all of kind of the insights you have for the linked data. Exciting stuff to come for
Yeah,
us
I'm
Alma
sure it will
users.
be. Yeah. Always trying to move forward.
Yeah.
And
We appreciate
important for us to hear from you all. So
Yes.
appreciate you all.
Thank you all for always being open to communication. We appreciate.
Yeah, of course. I was just going to
Yeah,
say, I will pass
absolutely.
that question on to Adina.
Yeah.
She's doing the presentation on Wednesday. I hope you go to it.
I will if I have time.
Okay, good. It's always good to have access
Thank
to
you.
product. Yep. All
Yeah,
right.
thank you. It was fun
All
chatting
right.
with
Okay,
you.
y'all. Take care now.
Enjoy
Bye.
the rest of your
Thanks so much,
conference.
everyone.
Bye. Thank you.